vastly outnumbered forces as the start of the siege of Petersburg. The narrative of these operations is familiar. On May 20th through 21st, following more than 2 weeks of combat and 60,000 combined Union and Confederate casualties at the Wilderness and Spotsylvania, U.S. Grant once again attempted to place his army between Lee and Richmond, angling to get around the rebels' right flank. Lee anticipated the move and took up position behind the North Anna River, where fighting continued on May 23rd through 26th. By the end of the month, after additional action at Totopotomoy Creek and Bethesda Church, the Army of the Potomac and Army of Northern Virginia found themselves on nearly the same ground where Major General George B. McClellan had faced Lee 2 years earlier during the 7 Days Battles. On June 1st through 3rd, near a crossroads just northeast of Richmond called Cold Harbor, Federals attacked their heavily entrenched enemy. Storied frontal assaults by the Union's 2nd, 6th, and 18th Corps, together with other fighting on the 3rd, resulted in 4,500 Union and 1,500 Confederate casualties, the former figure far lower than innumerable treatments of the action would have it. And overall, Grant lost approximately 14,000 and Lee 8,500 men between May 23rd and June 3rd. Dubbed a butcher by many Confederate newspapers and the Copperhead wing of the Democratic Party, the Union General-in-Chief remained focused on the task at hand. Holding Lee's attention with part of his army, Grant pulled the majority of his troops out of the trenches at Cold Harbor and sent them across the James River to threaten Petersburg, a key road and rail junction 25 miles south of the rebel capital. This maneuver, which one perceptive Confederate later praised as the most brilliant stroke in all the Federal campaigns of the whole war, included construction of an impressive 2,100-foot-long pontoon bridge. Fooled by Grant, Lee delayed 3 days in sending reinforcements to Petersburg, leaving Beauregard with only 2,500 soldiers on June 15th to contend against roughly 7 times that number in the Union's 2nd and 18th Corps. But despite losing their initial line of well-prepared works, the Confederates held on for 4 days, abetted by a combination of lethargy, confusion, and exhaustion on the Federal side. Lee's veterans began to reinforce Beauregard on the 18th, and by the end of that day, a priceless opportunity for Grant had slipped away. In the course of the 4 days, regiments of United States Colored Troops, USCT, saw action, notably on the 15th, while some white units, grown weary of assaulting entrenched Confederates for many weeks, refused to advance. Although Richmond and Petersburg remained in Confederate hands, Grant had created the situation Lee most feared: the Army of Northern Virginia immobilized behind fortifications. A year before, just after Chancellorsville, Lee had argued for an offensive into the United States, so the Army of the Potomac could not take its own time to prepare and strengthen itself to renew its advance upon Richmond and force this army back within the entrenchments of that city. I think it is worth a trial to prevent such a catastrophe. Lee reaffirmed this fear in early June 1864. "We must destroy this army of Grant's before he gets to James River," he told Lieutenant General Jubal A. Early. "If he gets there, it will become a siege, and then it will be a mere question of time." Grant knew what he had accomplished. Originally hopeful that he could take Petersburg in one bold stroke, he telegraphed Chief of Staff Henry W. Halleck on June 14th. "Our forces will commence crossing James River today."